Well, I want to thank everybody for joining today's Code Ninjas conference call. This is the first call for the UK that we're focusing on. So we've been doing these calls in the US and Canada for the past 2 years. My name is Marty Flanagan, and I'm the Vice President of Franchising with Code Ninjas. I started Code Ninjas with David Graham and Bert Sensipon. In 2016, we started forming Code Ninjas as a franchise, and then launched in the US in 2017, and then launched in Canada in 2018, and now launching in the UK here in 2019. So these calls are, if you've listened to them before, we have them on the Code Ninjas Franchising YouTube channel. And really what these calls are for is to help give you a better understanding of Code Ninjas as a whole. And we also have a live interactive Q&A that we do. So after this first 10 or 15 minutes, I'm going to give you this brief overview. And then I'm going to open it up to Q&A. So whatever questions you have about Code Ninjas, maybe how we're adapting to the UK market compared to the US and Canada. We're not a franchise that says, hey, what works in the US is going to work in the UK. We understand there's differences. We have actually an office that we're opening in the UK with individuals that live and are from the UK that are going to be supporting our franchisees locally. So that's great to know that you're going to get localized support. So what's happening with Code Ninjas? What's been going on? First, I have to say that in the UK, I've been marketing now for, I believe, about 12 days. We've been marketing for prospective franchisees, just overall as a franchise, to say who's interested in this kind of idea, this concept of this franchise of Code Ninjas. And what's happened is in the last 12 days, I've received close to 700 inquiries, which is pretty crazy because we didn't even get that in the U.S. So about 700 inquiries over the past 12 days coming out of the UK. I've had about 60 to 70 phone calls that out of those 700 inquiries, I've had close to 60 to 70 one-on-one phone calls. We're hosting a Discovery Day on May 21st, which we'll talk, and that's in London. We'll talk more about that in a minute. But just so you have an idea of how this agenda on today's call is going to work, that this first 10 or 15 minutes, I'm going to dive in and talk about a few different aspects of Code Ninjas, and then you'll be able to, we'll turn it over to you, and you can ask as many questions as you'd like, which is my favorite part of these calls, where I can actually answer your individual questions. So what about Code Ninjas? What's going on? Why has it been so crazy? Why has Code Ninjas only accomplished what 2% of franchise brands have ever accomplished in franchising? How and why has that happened? Well, to give you a little bit of backstory, David Graham, the CEO and founder of Code Ninjas, he's been a programmer, developer for 25 years, entrepreneur, literally his entire life. And he actually owned a school that taught adults how to code for about 4.5 years, that operated in 18 different cities here in the U.S., throughout the U.S. And that was purchased by the Wozniak Group, which is now called Wazoo. Wozniak, which is the co-founder of Apple, that was purchased by the Wozniak Group. But during that 4.5 years, he was asked on a regular basis about the younger generation getting involved in understanding this world of coding and programming, and more importantly, thinking like a coder. So after week after week after week of getting and continuing to happen for 4.5 years, being an entrepreneur, being a problem solver, he continued to do research on the market and continued to see a problem. And the problem was the way that our younger generation was, the opportunities that they had to learn how to code, and what those opportunities really limited the audience of those customers for the kids. So as time went on, he continued to develop a curriculum, continued to kind of put it all together based off what was on the market, what we had to come up, how we had to come up with it himself, or with tools that we have. And as time went on, he sold that now, and he was able to focus on Code Ninjas full time, hence where myself and Bert came aboard in 2016. And we understand that when it comes to teaching this, it has to be more about the experience than it does anything else. So kids aren't having, you can have world-class curriculum, but if the kids aren't having fun and the parents don't see results, then we're going to be losing kids like crazy. So when it comes to our opportunity, there's actually 6 different opportunities for families to get involved in Code Ninjas. So 6 different categories of revenue streams for you. Each has obviously a different points underneath it. The most popular one that we have is our drop-in program. That's our number one revenue-producing curriculum that we have, opportunity that we have. That drop-in program is, and I like to explain it very just kind of brief overhead, has 9 different belts to go with the karate theme. Those 9 belts, within inside each belt has a certain set of learned set of skills and concepts. At the end of each belt, our students are required to build a game so they show their proficiency in the skills and concepts they learn from within inside that belt. Every belt compounds onto one another. It's called cumulative learning. It all works together. So every belt, at the end of every belt, those concepts and skills they have to show their proficiency to be able to progress from that belt and all the prior belts. This curriculum itself takes about 3 to 4 years to accomplish by 1 to 3 hours a week. This has 90% proprietary and exclusive to Code Ninjas. This has proprietary textbooks that go along with it. This lives on our platform in the cloud. Students access this through our dashboard on site. This program has an exclusive robotics. This curriculum has an exclusive robotics program built into it as well. This curriculum has the only game development platform LMS, learning management system. We call it our game development platform. It is the testing ground to show their proficiency. So mom and dad, families can see what their son or their daughter is learning, what they're taking away. So we built our own because it doesn't exist on the market today. This curriculum uses really 3 different technologies built into it. They are learning the syntax. This is not drag and drop. This is not free coding class. Free coding classes give ideas of concepts and understandings. They'll use a little bit of different programs just to help kids get an understanding of the concepts. And belt number 2, for example, inside this drop-in curriculum, they'll be typing in almost 1,100 lines of code and learning the syntax. So they're actually learning full-fledged coding and the skill sets that go behind it, not just drag and dropping curriculum or drag and dropping lines. This curriculum is designed as a flexible learning system, so it's very individualized. There's no classes, there's no lectures. This is very individualized. So they're going to come in at their family's convenience, their parents' convenience, stay for an hour to 3 hours, usually an hour once a week, up to 3 hours a week, and they're going to work through this at their own pace. And everything is going to be brought to them by a code sensei. So when they come in, they're going to scan their wristband. It unlocks their ability to access our curriculum. They're going to sit down. They're going to use a textbook. They're going to have their computer, and they're going to start working through a lesson. They come to a problem they cannot solve. They're going to raise their hand. A code sensei is going to come work with them one-on-one in that situation they're in, work to help them through that problem, and then move on to the next student that needs help. So this curriculum right here is your number one revenue source. This is what's number one revenue producing in our centers here in the U.S. and Canada. If you don't know much about our history, when we launched in 2017, we had our first location open in 2017, and we had our first franchisee. Today, we have 465 sold locations in the U.S. and Canada. We have close to 200 locations open with more than 230 franchisees, all that done within about 24 months. That's pretty amazing. So within those centers, we're able to get a really good bead on what is working and what is not working. And that's why I can say with confidence that this is going to be your number one revenue producing stream within inside your Code Ninjas. As a franchise, we have 6 different opportunities, like I mentioned. We have Parents' Night Out. We host birthday parties. We do our drop-in program, like I just mentioned. We have an after-school program. And we also have workshops and camps. Workshops and camps are what you see out in the market today that people are offering within inside of schools or libraries or wherever they might be. We have 12 different camps and workshops that you can offer and go out into the community and offer them inside of your Code Ninjas. So you can do both. The drop-in program is only accessible from within inside your Code Ninjas. This is that curriculum that's 90% proprietary and exclusive. We have game curriculum developers on staff that focus on the consistent sharpening and building of our curriculum. So there's always going to be, we always tell everybody our curriculum is complete but never finished. It's never going to be finished. It's always going to be transforming. It's always going to be developing based on the feedback from our students, based on the feedback from our coach senseis, our franchisees, our parents, the marketplace. It's under consistent development and sharpening to be sure that we're not falling behind anywhere. So that curriculum itself is really what has made Code Ninja stand out to IT professionals and to teachers, which are those teachers and IT professionals have usually been our early adapters. They see how the market is changing. They see the lack of material that's out there for students in the school system. And teachers and IT professionals usually are the first ones to jump on the Code Ninja opportunity. And this curriculum itself is something we also go over at our Discovery Day on May 21st. So this gives you an idea of that curriculum. The reason we're a franchise versus a corporate entity is because we want to focus on that exceptional experience, and franchisees can deliver that better than a corporate entity can. The free market is going to be able to deliver that exceptional experience. Your code senseis are typically between 17 and 22 years old. Their number one job is to deliver an exceptional experience and coach and teach the Code Ninjas curriculum. You don't have to hire coders. You don't have to hire programmers. We have the materials, the guides, the playbook for you to be able to bring these individuals on. Your job will be to train them on how to deliver an exceptional experience and coach and teach the Code Ninjas curriculum. You don't have to be a coder. You don't have to be a programmer. The way this is designed and the way it's been working very effectively here in the States and in Canada is this age group, the 17 to 22 age group, this is what they're passionate about already. This is what they want to do with their future. So it's really something that adds to their own personal resume and background because they're going to be doing the curriculum and they can take it with them into the future and say that they taught kids how to code for X number of years at a Code Ninjas. So this gives you an idea. The support structure that we've designed that we have here in the U.S. and Canada is all about collaboration and partnership. We have Code Ninja University that's going to help guide you through what to do, when to do it, timelines, planners, everything in place so you understand what you have to get done as a franchisee and sharing best practices. You're immediately connected with every franchisee across the country, the UK, Canada, and the U.S. You're immediately connected. You're going to have your own groups, your own connections for being local, obviously in the UK, but then you're going to be connected with franchisees in the US and Canada because those best practices of experience, delivering that exceptional experience, that crosses borders. That doesn't matter where you're at. Those programs that they've refined are in place. We have digital marketing strategies in place for you so that you're able to hit the ground running, pre-opening marketing templates for you to follow so you know what you need to be doing before you open your doors. You're enrolling students and families before you even open your doors for business. Happens on a regular basis in the U.S. and Canada. I don't foresee any issues happening in the U.K. And we have franchising experience in the U.K. As helping build one of the number one franchise systems in the world. Spent a lot of time working in the U.K. And in Code Ninjas, if that 700 inquiries over a period of 12 days is any indication of how popular Code Ninjas are going to be for parents, this is going to be a fantastic opportunity throughout the UK. So the Discovery Day that we're hosting on May 21st currently has about 40 attendees, so it's a pretty full, pretty exciting group of people that are coming. If that's something you're interested in, you may want to email me. My email address is Marty, M-A-R-T-Y, @codeninjas.com. Have to sign an NDA, that kind of fun stuff to get you involved and make sure your expectation is set right. As a franchise, we award you a territory. When we award you a territory, you have exclusive rights to do business in that territory. I have the entire UK mapped out already for what available territories and markets are. I worked with a local mapping company in the UK that knows the child enrichment space. They mapped out the entire UK for us already for income and for student count population. So I have everything already taken care of there as well. It's really critical for Code Ninjas to team up with the right partners, the right franchisees in the beginning, because it really lays the groundwork for us as we grow. We've learned this throughout the U.S., and we've learned this in Canada to be sure that now when we transition to the UK, we've made some adjustments. We're We're getting as many local resources involved as possible, from real estate to fit-out companies to sign companies to insurance. Everything we're trying to do is local in the UK, so it keeps your costs lower. The landscape of the real estate landscape in the UK is obviously unique, and we've made some adjustments to our model to work with that as well, working with a local barrister and a planner to be sure we're categorized properly. We've put a lot of work into making sure as we launch into the UK that we can do it smoothly and effectively, but we only can do that with the right group of people, and we learn this throughout the US and in Canada. So that's why myself and David Graham are coming out to host that Discovery Day, and we've planned one-on-one meetings all the way until Saturday. So there's opportunities to sit down with us and really vet this relationship out to make sure it's going to work. So what I'd like to do is, if you have questions on anything regarding Code Ninjas, poke holes in this system, please. I've been on the phone 8 to 10 hours a day, 5-6 days a week for 2.5 years. And like I said, I started this company with David Graham, Bert Sensipon, core values. Any questions you have, we can share. I can share actually some revenue aspects of Code Ninjas as well. And at Discovery Day, we're going to actually unveil some even more details, because the UK franchising laws really allow me to give you more information than I can in the US and Canada. So at Discovery Day, we're going to give a little bit more detail as well, but I can give even some rough ideas there if you'd like to. So we have everything from business plans, financial partners, Excel performance, costs of I have it all already built in, that those tracks are laid. So it's really just about making sure that you fully understand what we're about, what you're getting into, and we understand you and your goals, so we can be a great partner together as we move forward. So at this time, if you have questions at all, I mean, I get it. I mean, if I did such a fantastic job that you don't have any questions, then we can move on. But if you do have questions, this is going to be your time to ask whatever questions you have. And again, this is the first call, and I've been doing these calls for 2 years in the U.S., and we always have great questions that come up, and I will answer questions as long as you are going to be on the line, and as long as you have questions, I will answer those questions for you. So if you hit *6, it'll virtually raise your hand, and then I'll be able to unmute you, and you'll be able to ask whatever questions you have, and I'll do my very, very best to answer all your questions. So it looks like we have a couple questions here. Hi, you have a question?
Hello. My name is Simeon. I'm calling from North London. Basically, I want to know if this is my very, very, very first franchise approach to anything. I am a coder myself. And found you through Google, trying to find something for my son to do over the school closing in 2 weeks' time. I just wanted to know what the franchise includes.
Sure. So
plans, everything else includes. Hardware, any I don't know, chairs, tables, this kind of stuff. I know it's maybe a stupid question, but
no, my word, not a stupid question at all. First of all, thank you for actually just asking a question and even thinking that we'd be your first franchise opportunity. Really appreciate you joining the call and asking a question. So when it comes to the franchise, we have everything worked out from all your inventory, everything that you would possibly think of needing, we have worked out for you. Everything from inventory, everything lives on our platform in the cloud, so there's no downloading of anything like that for software, anything you're going to be keeping there. But all of our curriculum is already in place, so you don't have to worry about trying to find curriculum, find a program over here. We have it in place. Now, we do want your feedback, so if you do find something out there that's fantastic, that's fun, that you see in the market, we would love to be able to incorporate that somehow. So really kind of giving us your feedback is critical. As a franchisor, we need our franchisees' feedback. So everything when you think about what does it include, first of all, when it comes to your franchise, the price is going to vary to open up a Code Ninjas, because we are a destination, so we have a location that you would have to open. You would lease that space, and you could also go out into the community with your Code Ninjas curriculum for the camps and workshops. So when you look at what does it include, we have a complete breakdown of everything for total turnkey, open your door for business. We built the processing system. We built the payment processing system. We built everything, the dojo, everything, all your reports, everything, the CRM, everything that is a technological hub of your Code Ninjas. We actually built that and customized it just for Code Ninjas. So you don't have to go out and find anything or buy anything or go get it. It's all in-house. So it's very streamlined, very simple, and that's how we've been able to scale our business and not have to worry about trying to go out and find other programs or systems, because we have it all in-house and built. Now, we do incorporate other camps and workshops that are from outside of that we have not built, because there's a lot of great programs out there that are like creative. We actually are Snap Circuits, for example, we're the number one customer, so they created Ninja Circuits for us, which is proprietary. Our robotics program is also proprietary, and we have camps built around that. We have camps built around popular programs like Minecraft and Roblox, because kids can take that to a whole nother level after they leave once they go through one of our camps and keep it creative, keep it fun, but also keep it very, very educational. Those are the camps and workshops. We have beginning JavaScript and coding drones, and there's a variety of different camps that we offer, 12 in total, along with workshops.
I'm excited myself.
Yeah,
I'm excited myself.
Oh, nice. And being that you're a coder by trade, the curriculum that we have works through 3 different technologies. It works through JavaScript, it works through Lua, and it works through C#. The end game, so you as a coder will understand this. Everything when you're learning anything in the beginning, you're held within inside boundaries in a box, because you have to be contained to learn specific skills and specific concepts, because you have to be focused on that skill and that concept. But at the end, when you complete all 9 belts, when you're at that 9th belt, you're no longer contained. There's no longer a focal point. You're actually building a game from conception to development to beta test to release and everything in between. So there's not a process where you have to take an app and then customize that app, or take you're using this game and customizing that game. Those are used, but not in that 9th belt. That 9th belt is something that is it's a blank slate, and you're building it from there. And just being that you're a coder and a programmer, I'm sure you understand this, that all great coders and programmers, they can pick up a language over a week. But what they can't do is pick up the problem-solving skills, problem identification, collaboration, leadership, time management. Those back-end skills that make a great coder, those can't be taught over a week. And that's what we focus on. Not so much a technology to say you're going to be great at this language, but we want to focus on those back-end skills so that when our Code Ninja students get older, they can choose their language, because also in the market today, a lot of these languages, a lot of times these projects require multiple technologies. So to be able to have our students' skills be fully transferable, they're going to be able to pick up another language and other technologies and be able to complete projects.
Good. Right.
I know I really went off the rails there, so I apologize, but I hope that helps.
It's fine. The reason I'm asking you what hardware and stuff like that includes is if I find, say, a property which I have in mind for about 2025, I'm not sure whether or not it is visible in terms of revenue and things like this. So that's why
we're going to work. We work with you one-on-one with that. We actually help build your entire cost of doing business. So I will help you build your entire cost of doing business and help you understand your revenue stream. So before you become a franchisee, you're going to have a clear view of what your possibilities are.
Right. On the 21st of May, you said you will have a gathering in London, correct?
Yes, we're having a Discovery Day in London at the Horse Guard Hotel on May 21st.
Sorry, can you spell again the place where you have the discovery day?
Yeah, it's called the Horse Guard Hotel, and that's by invitation only. So Horse Guard, the Royal Horse Guard Hotel. And so if it's something you're interested in, it is by invitation. So make sure you reach out to me because you'll have to sign an NDA and register yourself to attend.
Okay, so I'll have to send you an email, in other words.
Yeah, yep. Send me an email. I'll get you all set up.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. I think I have you on my
LinkedIn
LinkedIn profile as well. So.
Okay, wonderful. Yes, yeah, definitely reach out. Thank you. Hi, you have a question?
Yeah, hello. So my question is continuation to the. Yeah, hello. Yeah, myself Sundar, and I am network architect by profession, and I do a little bit of coding as well as the part of the job, and that is based on the Python. Okay, so my question is that the question that the last person asked, that was really great. And in continuation to that, my question is that means what is the investment required and what is the infrastructure requirement from the point of me if I would like to take the franchise from you? So do I need some kind of building?
You'd have to get a space. Yes, you're going to have a dedicated space. The free roaming type of franchise or system we don't do. We have a dedicated space. It's got security cameras. It's very comfortable. It's safe. So we have a dedicated space for Code Ninjas. And obviously, like I mentioned earlier, you can take parts of our curriculum out into the market as well. When you look at total turnkey for Code Ninjas, now this would include your franchise fee, your outside signage, all of your inventory, your fit out, everything you can think of. Your starting place is anywhere between 80,000 and 100,000 pounds is your starting place. Now, it could be less than that, it could be more than that, but we first have to understand the space that you're going to go into, how big is it, and where you're going to be at, and how does all that work. So there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle, but that's about where you want to think you would start at. In the U.S., it's double that. So we've made changes to the U.K. to bring it down to have a lower cost of start than the U.S. In the U.S., it's around $250,000 U.S. To get started. So in the U.K., it's lower, and in the revenue opportunity is exactly the same. Your density is incredible there in the U.K. So it's the same opportunity.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you. Hi, you have a question?
Couple of questions.
Hi,
this is Peter here.
Yes, please.
First thing is, how do we train our faculty to your standard? So though we partners, we are all from IT background, but the faculty point of view, how you help us in training a faculty to your standard? My second question is...
Great. Yes. Okay, go ahead. Yep.
Second question, you also said the other revenue opportunities like conducting workshops in school or in library and places like that. So how do we manage our resources like software or hardware tools and the places where we conduct our workshops? How do we manage in the outside places? I just wanted a guidance on it.
Yeah, great question. So a couple things with that. One is when you think of your team, we're going to give you job descriptions. We have training resources. They're going to be teaching and coaching the Code Ninjas curriculum, so they're going to have to do the Code Ninjas curriculum. There's no better teachers than the ones that can actually do the Code Ninjas curriculum. And our curriculum, remember, is for 7 to 14 years old. That's where we start at, 7 to 14. Their cognitive skills are not like an adult. So an individual that's 17, 18 years old, they're not doing the entire curriculum. They're only going to be doing the curriculum up to where you have your students. So if you have students on belt number 2, there's no reason to have one of your code senseis doing belt number 6. It doesn't even make sense to do that. We keep them focused. So they're going to be going through the curriculum up to where your students are, maybe one belt ahead of time, so they're ready to coach and teach. When it comes to your center directors, not only do we work with you on coaching and teaching your center directors, but they also have a collaboration tool where they're working and gathering the best practices from franchisees all over the world. So they're not just going to be focus just on the UK. They also can collect best practices and talk to franchisees and center directors from all over. So not only do you get support from us, the franchise, ongoing support, everything from marketing to operations to technology, curriculum, but also you get that camaraderie of other Code Ninjas franchisees and center directors who are living it out every day. And there's nothing better than learning from those on the ground every day, and that's why we built in collaboration tools, so you're immediately connected, and we share best practices. So we have a team that goes and looks at all the best practices and brings it together so that you're able to take advantage of those as well. That collaboration is critical for franchise success, so we have all that built in. When it comes to managing your opportunities, one, there's going to be a little bit of that's going to be on you a little bit as a franchisee, because you have to manage your resources, your time, and understand where the demand is coming from. But we also give you pathways to understand how to manage this and how to market to the community and even when to market. So we understand that if you open your Code Ninjas and that learning curve is not really smooth for you, could be smooth for somebody else, may not be so smooth for the other, we're there to help you understand when you even start to market or go out and talk to schools. What we have found with Code Ninjas is focusing on your center brings educators to you. We have found that as we focus on our center and when the word starts to get around, schools start coming to us. And then that really allows you then to continue to bring on a team that goes out and does these. Because remember, our code senseis are typically 17 to 22 years old. They're getting paid minimum wage. They do not have to be coders and programmers. You're not hiring a coder for $15 or 15 pounds per hour, right? So you're going to be bringing on those part-time. Those kids want to be a part of this environment. Maybe they're early, maybe they're early out of university or just finishing up school. And that managing them, we give internal resources for you, but also a little bit of it kind of comes off on you too and how you manage your team, because we don't know how your community is going to respond. Our school is going to respond in a positive way. They've shown that to do here in the U.S. and Canada. They do that in the U.K. Then really, that's a really good problem to have if you get super busy.
Okay.
I hope that helps a little bit. But we have a you'll be working with a team. We will be supporting you, coaching you, working with you, giving you advice and guiding you along. We don't just let you be and run a free-for-all. This is a partnership.
That's nice. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Hi, do you have a question?
Hi, this is Sundari. I'm a software developer. I have a question for you. You mentioned about 9 builds, and it takes 3 to 4 years, 1 to 3 hours a week to achieve that. Now, I have done a lot of coding, volunteer coding clubs. Not all children are very keen on programming, but they still wanted to come and experience that for a while. Now, from your existing past experience in the franchises, how much build do they go for children who are not very keen on programming, but they still wanted to try this for a while?
Yeah, great question. And the best way for me to be able to answer that is to tell you our average month-over-month attrition. Our average month-over-month attrition is 8%, which means we keep the majority of our students every single month. So when it comes to how long are they staying with us, first, we've been a franchise for about 2.5 years. So we're not quite at that, anybody getting to that black belt yet. I believe we have a few students that are on pace to be there in the next year. And by keeping it fun, keeping it interactive, allows our month-over-month attrition to be some of the lowest on the market, especially in the child education space. I've never heard of 8%. Typically, it's 30 to 40%. So to be at 8% should tell you that they're staying engaged. One thing is, too, sometimes kids are not too keen on programming and development because of staring at a black screen and having to type in a tremendous amount of lines of code to see one small result. Where ours is focused on it's like everything is game focused and game based. So they're building games and learning how to code at the same time. And it's not a lecture setting to where they're sitting in a big class getting lost by staring up at a screen. It's very individualized. And some days they're using robotics. They're not even going to be typing in code unless they've built the robotics and they have to code that robot. So we've done it a little bit different because in the past they've done everything on a classroom setting and kids were getting lost. They were getting frustrated. There was no easy wins for them. And our curriculum is designed of little wins all the way through. All those little wins continue to build their confidence and continue to build their motivation to continue to push forward. This isn't getting so bogged down in these early stages to where they're getting lost in the actual technology. So by keeping it game-based and keeping it game and fun-focused, it really gives it this whole nother feel of learning. It's kind of like baking spinach into chocolate cake. It gives it a whole new feel with our kids, and it's been proven to work with that 8% month-over-month attrition. So I think we'll have our first black belt, I bet you in the next 12 months, as we're hoping to see our first black belt come out, which is really exciting. Because now that is something that gets released to the App Store, and they're going to have a product out there in the free market. And we're really excited for our first student to reach that.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you. Hi, you have a question?
Hi, this is Carrie Scott, and I actually have two questions, if that's okay.
Yeah,
my
please.
first question is something I saw on your website about the path to ownership, which talks about the application process and then all the way through to step 6, which is your grand opening. And I was just wondering how long that process typically takes. I know it must vary a lot, but how long it takes between, I guess, when you sign the franchise agreement to a grand opening. And then my second question was more about staffing. So just what the average monthly salary cost that you've estimated in the UK would be for your son size.
So yes, perfect. Thank you for those questions. So when it comes to the timeline to open is obviously going to vary. So you think of here in the U.S. and Canada, it's about 6 months from the day they sign their franchise agreement to the day our franchisees open their doors for business. It's about 6 months. Here in the U.S., we have to pull a lot more permits. In Canada, a lot more permits are required, and we have a lot more build required here in the U.S. and Canada. In the UK, the real estate landscape and the permitting process is different. In some ways, that's good. In some ways, it's bad. But I believe after the research that we've done and the construction companies we worked with, the barristers, the planners, the work that we've put up front, I believe that opening in the UK, once you find your space, is going to be much faster than it is here in the US. So it's really coming down to finding that space. Here in the U.S., when you find your space, you're typically open within 3 to 4 months. I believe in the UK it'll be half of that. So if you have a space and you see that space and you sign that lease, I believe you'll be open in half the amount of time as they are here in the U.S. Okay. And that's because of adjustments we've made and because of the landscape in the UK. When it comes to the code senses, the research that we've done and the franchising work we've done in the UK, minimum wage is typically here in the US is about $15 an hour, and our franchisees average, well, and depending where they're at, usually average anywhere from $12 to $16 an hour, and we see that being very close to the same in pounds over there. They're not a high-paid position unless you want them to be. And the only reason they'd want them to be is if they've proven themselves, and they're all part-time. The person that's going to be there the most is your center director. Your center director is your go-to person. They're the face of your business. They're the one talking to parents every day. They're the ones that are creating the culture, hiring your team, working with your team. If you're not going to be actively involved in that or how much activity, this is going to be your right-hand woman, man, that's going to be on the ground working in your center and being the face of your business. That pay typically in the U.S. Is anywhere from about $30,000 to $40,000. In the U.K., I'm seeing about the same, about 25 to 35,000 pounds. Right in there is from what I've been seeing and hearing. And now that person can be full time, and then obviously some UK laws also can allow you to also have them be under contract and not be full time. But that's going to be some stuff that you can work on, and we give you the freedom as a franchisee. We don't require you to pay people certain amounts.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Hi, you have a question? Hi, thanks for being patient. Do you have a question? Maybe not. Hi, do you have a question?
Hi, Marty. It was very good to speak with you earlier this week. But
oh yes,
it's actually this is Peter Ho. It's actually impossible for me to meet up with you or even to attend your Discovery Day, and I'm very sorely disappointed by that. But I'm very interested. So if I am very interested, what do I do from now?
So next week you're not even going to be around next week at all?
Well, it's not possible, given my other commitment.
Okay.
So
well, I'm there. Yeah, so I'm there all week. If we can't make time to meet for whatever reason, that's totally okay. I understand. We just have to then plan another one-on-one call because my team obviously lives in the UK and is there. But we can plan a one-on-one call and build out your roadmap to move forward. So I can definitely, we definitely still can, even when I'm over there, obviously I have international calling, so we can even talk next week, and we can plan out your roadmap forward so you have a clear path knowing what your next steps are and what that looks like. I can even send you some of our UK agreements. You can look at it and read it over. We can even talk more about some of the financial things. I can send you tons of tools up and beyond what I already sent you. So let's just make sure we stay in touch, and then I'll build a clear roadmap moving forward for you. I'll be in the UK until Saturday, and then I'll be in Amsterdam and the Netherlands talking with a few people over there for the same Code Ninja purpose until Tuesday. So I'll be in that area for quite a while.
Well, actually, if you are ever in the city of London, our square mile, and have a spare hour where you're just kicking around, we could have a coffee.
Yeah, let's do that. Well, if you're around next week, and we can do it.
Well, yeah,
I would love it.
Fine. I'll suggest sometimes. Great.
Okay, wonderful. Let's go. Let's connect the email and let's work it out.
Excellent. I'll do that.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Hi, you have a question?
Hi, Marty. Marty, it's Will Clayton. We spoke earlier in the week from London.
Oh, hey, Will. Yes, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. And yourself?
Doing wonderful. It's like sunny outside and warm, so it's great.
Okay. You mentioned earlier, what planning requirements are you looking for the spaces? Are we looking D1, D2? Are we looking at A1 office, or what are we looking at for the sites?
Yeah, so what I would say right now, your safe bet until the actual council comes back with our actual category. A D1 and A2 are the two that I would look at. We've had a barrister meeting on Wednesday. They're writing up their entire proposal, and the planner is going to be going to council. The first 5 to 6 franchisees are going to set a precedent for us. So it's really important that we all work hand in hand, and we're paying that £12,000 up front to have that report done for you, so that you're going to be able to use that when you go to your planner, or use the planner that we've been using to go to council for a space approval. So, but right now D1 or A2 would be a safe bet, and those would be, I think, the safest bets. Yeah.
Okay, fine. In the agreements and things that I've seen so far, and trying to do a financial model, Marty, everything seems to be in dollars. I don't think I've missed anything. Have you actually nailed down what the what the sterling costs are going to be on things, or is that still a work in progress? So you can let us have more on May the 21st.
I have the sterling costs all worked out. So on the 21st, I can. We've had actually, I believe we even have 4 different our preferred vendors that are going to be there that we've worked with for the fit out. But we also have the sterling cost of like what the lobby would look like, from everything from the computers to all your inventory. We do have all that worked out, and
franchise
cost would be some. Yep, yeah. Franchise fee is £24,000, and that includes travel for our first handful of franchisees. That includes travel to the U.S. for one person for new franchisee training.
Right. Okay. Thank you. You said that the franchise areas are all mapped out. How many franchise areas have you put on for the UK?
Well, they mapped out more than I see happening, and I'm a pretty optimistic person. The company that we worked with mapped out 865 territories. I see 300 to 400.
Right. Okay.
In the UK, I see 300 to 400 that I saw were good quality, good income. The gross household disposable income would look good. The purchase power looked good. The student counts look fantastic. I have that software, so you as a franchisee are going to even be able to see exactly the neighborhoods in the postal codes and sectors that have the most kids and the most income. So you'll even know how to do some more focused marketing.
We're going to be able to look at the demographics of different areas when we're making our decisions, yeah?
Oh, yeah, we do all that one-on-one. You and I do all that one-on-one and customize that. So everything, you're going to be able to see it, make decisions on it, look at the data. I want to make sure that we customize that process with every individual. We do that in the U.S. and Canada. There's no reason why we can't do that in the UK. We do a screen share. We look at the data together. You actually can guide me around and bring me to different cross streets, and I can pull the data. We paid for the entire mapping software for the entire country and all the data that goes with it, so we can look at all that together. We can do drive times, and we can do territory circles. We can eliminate postal codes and add them in. So that process is going to take a little while because it's a lot of data, and I want to make sure that you fully understand where you're going and what
no problem.
What that area looks like. Yeah.
Okay. Who do you see in your eyes as being your biggest competitor in the UK?
I'd say the biggest competitor in the UK, and I hate to say it this way, but I've been saying it this way for a long time, I think is lack of education of the value of coding. When you come down to an exact company, I don't see anything on the market that is going to compete with Code Ninjas on a ability of what we offer for families and what we offer as a franchise. There's some companies trying to come into the UK and franchise, but they're running a quarter of what we do for the same price. So It's like, okay, you're doing a quarter of what we do for the same cost. It's going to be basically going to come down to who do you feel like you're best suited to team up with. And we understand we're not meant for everybody, and we're okay with that. We understand that. We want the best partnerships we possibly can have. So when it comes to competition, what we've seen in the U.S., what we've seen in Canada is honestly, it's the lack of understanding the value of what coding brings to the younger generation. That's the biggest battle, not the competition of actual space, of actually somebody offering a camp or a workshop. The fear is that they're going to do it poorly, and that's going to reflect on the entire idea of the younger generation learning how to code. That's my biggest fear, is that there's people out there doing it wrong, and then you get these kids who had a bad experience and don't want to ever do it again.
They'll never go back to it, yeah, okay. Earlier in the call, you talked about 6 revenue streams. Could you just distinguish a little bit for us the difference between the drop-in student, which is the main revenue stream? What is the difference between the drop-in student and an after-hours student?
Yeah, so the after-school program is more where they're going to be with you for 4 or 5 hours, 3, 4, 5 hours at one time, where the drop-in program, they're there with you for an hour to maybe 2 hours. And the after-school program is where you go and pick them up and bring them to your Code Ninjas. Where the drop-in program, their mom or dad is bringing them to the Code Ninjas and either staying there and waiting for them to be done or going and running errands and coming back.
So after hours is completely... Or are we talking about branded minibus going around schools picking up kids kind of thing?
Yes.
Right, fine. Okay.
Yeah, and then you have the camps and workshops. To clarify those, workshops are typically 1 to 3 days, anywhere from half day to full day. Camps are camps are 5 days long, and they're either half day or full days. Okay,
no problem at all.
And Parents Night Out is the STEM-focused babysitting.
Fine, okay. And I presume, as with most franchisees, that if you should ever want to exit and you've built up a business, as long as you approve the incoming franchisee buying the business from you and they undergo your training program, it's okay for the equity to be sold within the business?
Oh, of course, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Look, I think that's all I've got for now, Marty. Thanks for your time. I look forward to seeing you on the 21st.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'll see you then.
Cheers, Marty. Thanks.
Thanks. Hi, you have a question? Thanks for being patient.
Hi there, Marty. This is Lana speaking.
Hi.
Very interested. Myself and a friend of mine, we're both in IT. We've been there a long time and we're quite sick of the corporate environment and just want to do our own thing. So we were just wondering, could we go into a partnership together, and would it maybe sustain more than just one household, or is it something that we should be trying to do individually, as in have two opportunities, two sides, do that kind of thing? That's my first question. And then the second question is, how much does it cost for a kid to attend your first opportunity where they will come and drop in weekly and learn how to code?
Great. Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. Yes, partnerships are welcome. Partnerships are great. Now,
okay.
Is it sustainable for you? I don't know how much money you make. I don't know what your goals are. You please don't have to share that with me now. We can get into that one-on-one. I have an Excel pro forma that we can use to build that out. So if you say, I need to make X number of pounds per year or per month, we actually can build out the entire goal-setting process with that. So you actually can see, is it good for one? We give you a discount on the second, by the way, as well. We give you an extended timeline to open up the second, so you don't have to do them both at the same time. So there's some things that we do there when you want to buy multiple locations as well. So we can work on that together. We can look at that together and customize that. This is a very individualized process, so that's something we can work on together. So that's that partnership. That's that partnership question. When it comes to the cost of the drop-in program, we give you a floor and a ceiling, and you're going to find your sweet spot based on maybe doing a SWOT analysis in your community, looking what other companies are charging for, whether it be football or swimming or music, whatever it might be. What are the other child enrichment programs? Where are they at? And so in the UK, you're looking at probably 75 pounds as your starting place for the drop-in curriculum at 1 hour per week.
Okay. Is that
now here in the U.S.? Yeah. So just to give you an idea, that's per month. Here in the U.S., we average $216, which is roughly 230 pounds. So we average per student in the U.S. $216 for 2 hours per week. We can go as low as $99 for 1 hour a week. So that's where I just did the translation there. So 75 pounds would be your minimum probably there. So yeah, 216. So what is that? That's probably about 200 pounds, I think. Yeah, 200 pounds. We have centers here in the U.S. that charge as high as $350 per month.
Wow.
And so really we want to find your sweet spot and where you're at, and see how the numbers can work.
Yeah, I mean, that's great because a yoga class is about £70 a month.
Yes. And so
yeah, so it's a good price. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've actually forgotten to ask
please.
you one more thing. If there's a minimum capital amount that we need, like
we don't have a requirement. No, we don't have a requirement. Now, we as a franchise we don't have a requirement.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much, Marty. I appreciate your answers. We'll be in touch.
Wonderful. All right, thank you. Thanks for your time.
You're welcome.
Hi, thanks for being patient. Do you have a question?
Yeah, hi, Marty. I'm Kiru. Actually, I got answers for some of my questions. I got two more questions. So one is, me and my wife, we are thinking to start this franchise, but we are full-time employed. So do you have any existing franchisees who are full-time and also running this franchise successfully?
Yes. Yeah. Half of our franchisees work full-time jobs here in the U.S. and Canada. The other half work in their center. So it's about 50-50 split right now. And there's no difference in who's more successful. Some of our top performing franchisees have full-time jobs. In fact, nice little quick fact for you. One of our number one franchisees is from the UK, living here in the US, works a full-time job, and has a Code Ninja. So some of our centers, full-time, working, and have a Code Ninja doing very well. And some of our centers are working in their centers full-time and left their careers.
Okay, that's promising. The next question is, so I've been looking through all the the programs and the camps available from the other centers in US. In UK, it's slightly different. Some of the kids are into like a Raspberry Pi and microbit. The BBC microbit. So are you flexible in altering your existing programs for UK? Because all the kids have got this BBC microbit in their school, so they are little bit they know a little bit into it, and they are to learn more.
Yeah, so a couple questions to that. One, we're always looking to adapt how we can adapt to the UK market. We've proven it already how we will adapt. When it comes to what you're saying, it's something that, like last year, for example, we offered 6 camps. Franchisee feedback come in. Now we have 12 different camps. There's no reason why we can't adapt to a market demand. I mean, I hate to say it like this, but we want the best mousetrap. If we want to make sure that we have the best opportunity for our kids to learn what they need to learn and have fun with that. If it focuses on that's more camp and workshop focus. The actual drop-in curriculum, that's going to stay fixed because it focuses on underlying skills. But all those camps and workshops, that's where we would bring in something like you mentioned.
Okay, so if we want to make a change, does it needs to be like can I change only for my franchise, for my center, instead of like everyone throughout the country to agree that?
Well, what we would do is we would beta test with you. So if you said, hey, I came up with a 3-day workshop that is this microbit, and we would look at that together. You'd work with my curriculum team on it. We would focus on how we could use that as a bigger picture, but you would beta test that first. So if that's something that we can do together, we would beta test that with you. You would be the guinea pig type of situation, right? And if it all worked out well, then we would take it to another level and offer it to the rest of our franchisees. So there's a process there to have curriculum approved. It's not a free-for-all. We want all our Code Ninjas operating the same throughout the UK. So we would just have to go through a beta test and make sure it's something that fits and it works well.
Oh, okay. Can I ask another question? So
please go ahead.
I have listened to your another conference call, the previous conference call in the YouTube channel, and one of the question is, so is there any failed franchise, and what is the top reason for the failed franchises?
We have not had a Code Ninja franchise close. That has not happened. But I want to touch on that really quick because the F word happens, and that's going to happen to every franchise. And I've been in franchising for over 15 years. I helped build one of the number one franchises in the world, and I can tell you the F word happens, and it's going to come. We just want to make sure that we understand why it happened. Was it too much of a cost up front? Did they not market correctly? Did they say they were going to work in their center and not work in their center? Did they not hire somebody? So if you look at IFA is International Franchising Association. The IFA says if you have, as a franchise, if you have a 5% closure rate or less, you're considered a great franchise opportunity. If you have a 10% closure rate or less, you're a good opportunity. Currently, after 2.5 years in business, we have 0 closures.
Okay, that's great to know. Another caller mentioned, I have a difficulty in using the Excel sheet, so probably, we are coming for the drop-in session, the Discovery Day as well.
Are you going to be there?
I hope, yes, me and my wife here.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, great.
Yeah. So I believe I might get some more details how to use the Excel sheet.
Oh, yeah, we can do that. And if anything, we can schedule a one-on-one call, and I can walk it through with you, too, after next week. So this is, like I said, a very individualized process, so we can always jump on the phone and do a one-on-one and actually walk you through that as well.
All right, okay. Thanks, Marty.
Wonderful. All right, thank you. Hi, you have a question?
Hi there, Marty. I wanted to ask more along sort of local UK legislation. Would you advise what insurance you needed? So if, for argument's sake, we're doing the pickups from schools and taking kids to the premises, would you advise what insurance we need? Obviously, here there's DBS checks as well because it's safeguarding of kids.
Yep.
Would we be advised along of what sort of legislation and insurances we have to have in place?
Yes. Yep. We actually we're working with a local UK-based insurance company, so you'll know exactly what you need.
And then when it comes to advertising as well, would we have to have it approved by yourselves before we go out to advertise on the business?
Yes. So everything we have, all your marketing. So part of being a franchisee market, some of that marketing is going to be included. And then when it comes to the engagement in the community and more community-focused marketing, you can be out there. We want the message to be the same for all Code Ninjas. It doesn't mean that everything's going to be identical because you may offer an after school, but a Code Ninja's 5 miles, 10 miles away may not, right? And that's okay. Mm-hmm. But definitely all marketing we want to be on brand, so it just needs to be consistent.
Okay, and if we wanted to identify a specific area that we would want to open up in, would that be on a one-on-one basis? So we would consult with yourself?
Yep, we'd look at the data together. We'd walk through it, make sure it's a good area, remember, this is a partnership, so we have to see everything as viable and available. So that's something we would do together for sure.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, wonderful, thank you. All right, we got 2 more questions, this one and one more. Thanks for being patient.
Hi there. I just wanted to find out what centralized marketing will be done before you actually launch in the UK?
Well, so as launching as in like you as a franchisee opening, is just so I have clarity, is that what you're asking? So you as a franchisee, what marketing is done before you open?
Well, actually, it's both ways. So you're coming into the UK market newly, and presumably you've got a schedule as to when that's going to happen. So are you doing marketing for that, first of all? And then secondly, for individual franchisees as they open their their offices or their locations, is there going to be? Do you have a program of marketing that you're going to follow?
Yes.
Follow?
Yes. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So all that's already that's in place already. We also have a local PR firm, a UK-based PR firm that we work with also. When it comes to our marketing for prospective franchisees, we've been doing that for the last 12 days. And like I mentioned, we've received around 700 inquiries in the last 12 days from the franchise marketing we're doing. Individual center marketing, we have those digital marketing strategies and that roadmap of marketing to open. We have all that in place already. So we have all those pieces of the puzzle are already in line, and we have experience doing that in that market and the U.S. and Canada. So we feel pretty confident that we're going to get good results and teaming up with different local companies as well.
Okay, great. Thank you. And the discovery day that you've got on Tuesday, I wasn't able to write down the email address. Will you be sending out a communication after this webinar so that I can look at the location and the timings of that discovery day?
Yeah, you can. I've probably sent you an email, me or my team on the ground. You probably received an email from one of us, either Diane, Bessie, or myself. But if you see that email, or you can just email me, Marty, MARTY, @codeninjas.com. You can always email me through there, and I'll get your email right away. We can talk about what that looks like and get you a registration link.
Great. Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, all right. We had 25 to 30 attendees on today's call. I really do appreciate to have so many of you on the call this entire time listening to all those Q&As, all those questions. It's fantastic. I look forward to being in London on Sunday and hosting the Discovery Day on Tuesday, May 21st from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. If that is something you're interested in, shoot me an email. Please send me an email, marty@codeninjas.com. Thanks for the time today. I really do appreciate it. And enjoy your rest of your evening, and I hope to see you next week.